start streaming. I'm going to start doing that. We're streaming. We're waiting for the jock to come back. Oh yeah. The jock from Zenerd. Let's see if this fixes it. Sometimes it's just about giving it a new kick. Live streaming brought to you by a studio audience of 2. Okay, so this is all up. That looks good. Let me see if I share it now. Interesting. It still wants to show. Yeah, it's really weird. I noticed that with yours too one day. Like you put yours up and it showed, and I'm like, why is it doing that? I don't either. I don't know what it's doing. I don't know why it does it. It just makes me angry. It does. You want it to. Yep. I don't know. Anyway, well, you sound good. You don't sound like you're breaking up or anything like that. So you're the good one today. And I checked. Do me a favor. Go on your YouTube really quick, because I don't want to do it on my YouTube. Okay. I'm going to play a sound, and it's going to probably take a second, but just let me know what you hear. Let me see. I'll just do this one. Give it a second or two. Excellent. So I've known what I've been doing wrong. All these people, they're like, there's a show happening, kind of. It's like, it's funny because when they listen to the podcast, right, when they listen to the podcast, they're like, it's all there. I don't understand. And I'm like, trust me, I don't get it either. But you know, the funny thing is there's a couple of buttons that you have to press on OBS to make sure that that the sound goes through. And I had your mics all pressed, my mic was all pressed, but the soundboard wasn't all pressed. And that just one of those things when you do everything virtual. So yeah, I figured it out and I'm proud of myself. So it's all good. Thank you. All right, I'm going to keep this popped out. We're still recording, so we're good. Doot. Oh, what is this? Input volume. Testing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. Test. Okay. Looks like toast. I see you back. Let's put you back in your spot. You might a little, but we can get through it. Just make sure you save your go ahead and restart your thingy majingy there. Same with you, Phil, because when it comes down to it, if we can get the podcast to work, that's uber important tante. It's really all I want. I just want people to love each other. It's all good. I was doing Walt Disney today, and Reagan's walking around doing Goofy's voice, but like saying he's I think all the Jews should burn. I'm like, would you stop it, Reagan? She's like, Walt Disney. This is YouTube. We can say what we want on YouTube. YouTube's a whole different thing. We haven't started it for the show. It's fine, but yeah. Must have been something that they did. Okay. All right, I think we're ready to go. Everybody sounds good. Recording, Phil, yes? Are you recording? Oh, okie doke. And the nerd is recording. Good deal. All right, here we go.
You are listening to a Blazing Caribou Studios production.
On today's show, we discuss Walt Disney. You may recognize him as an American entrepreneur, animator, voice actor, and film producer. He pioneered the American animation industry, introducing several developments in the production of cartoons. But did you know he had a planet named after him? And no, it isn't Pluto. Our own sketch comedians Imran and Phil are back live on the drawing board, so stick around. The show starts now.
Shut up and sit down.
Is it better to be feared or respected? And I say, is it too much to ask above?
Yes. First of all, you're copying me from when I said I had a plan. I'm not. People say that all the time. It's not that unique of a thing to say.
It's sketching comedy. Why am I yelling?
Welcome back to Sketching Comedy, the show that teaches, laughs, and draws comedy and comics while you listen and watch from the comfort of your home. I'm your host, Carrie Sims, along with two of the funniest guys I know, Phil and Imran. Guys, hey, did you notice this week we started a sketch of the day on Twitter so the listeners could kind of draw along with us 3 times a week? Yeah, Yeah, it was kind of fun. I've got Reagan interning this summer, and I'm like, hey, I got an idea. How about you blow up our Twitters? We decided to come up with a cool thing and have our listeners draw something, just, kind of keep them in the mood of everything. So our first one that went out was a doodle for a dog, and we got a response from Tandagosa, and he came out of the gates running with his first adorable dog. I don't know if you guys see it here, but it is live on the screen. I put it down in the corner here. He's got this little dog jumping in the air off of a cliff. It is adorable. So, hey, not so bad for a quick sketch. What do you guys think? Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, you guys can check that out every Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday for new sketches and new sketch ideas, and just keep them coming because they're great. If you're curious and prefer watching the live show and seeing the art created right before your eyes, be sure to tune into Blazing Caribou on YouTube every Wednesday at 8/7 Central. And at the top of the hour, we mentioned Walt Disney. You might have heard the Steamboat Willie whistling in tune. Walter Elias Walt Disney was born on December 5th, 1901 in Hermosa, Illinois. He and his brother Roy co-founded Walt Disney Productions, which became one of the best-known motion picture production companies in the world. I mean, basically, if you've never heard of Walt Disney, you've never turned on a TV or been anywhere in your life. So Disney was an right. Well, Disney was an innovative animator and created and voiced the cartoon character Mickey Mouse. He won 22 Academy Awards during his lifetime and was the founder of theme parks, Disneyland, Disney World, and so many more. So, hey, let's get into it.
Hey, everybody, it's me, Mickey Mouse.
Extra, extra, read all about it. Extra, extra, read all about it.
So Walt Disney has an auction exhibition opening in I think it's in Los Angeles area. If you held on to an e-ticket for several years or a Haunted Mansion vinyl record, then you, dear Mickey loving maven, are a Disney collector. With that fact established, it is best to know that a major auction is ahead, one with a focus on the world's well-known theme park, as it will all happen at Van Eaton Galleries in Sherman Oaks, California, a place that specializes in Disney-themed auctions. Will you bid on a car from Autopia or the oh-so-rare hand-drawn map of the park, the one that helps sell the concept to the backers? Or maybe you've been longing for a particular cast member uniform from your favorite attraction. Hundreds of items will go on the block on June 25th, 2017, but you can see them now in person at the Ventura Boulevard space through June 24th, Tuesdays through Sundays. A collection of Disneyland tickets will set you back at an early bid of $200, while some other collectors will set their eyes on a Walt Disney signed opening day guidebook estimated in an opening bill of $7,000. They're auctioning off Disneyland hotel fixtures, such as Mickey Mouse desk and floor lamps, and even throwing in the comforter from the bed. I'm not sure about that one, but make sure you wash it before you use it. Right. You can snap a Disneyland Security Park officer jacket or grab a World Guest Relations costume from the hotel for a mere $400. So you can dress up as part of the park, part of the hotel staff. I mean, geez. Right, I know. I know. I'm like, can't I just go get a job at the Wyndham and like get paid for it? That'd be great. Well... Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. It's really pretty, and you can check it out. While they also have like Gus and Jacques, the character maquettes from Cinderella, they're going for $4,000. So chances are, if you're a Disney enthusiast, there will be something for everyone's budget at auction, and they have things as low as $80 there. But if you plan to bid online, head to icollector.com/Van Eaton Galleries or head on in person on June 25th. But no worries, if you're not, you can still view the nostalgic, nice finds on Walt Disneyland's online anytime. So check it out there, like I said, on icollector.com/Van Eaton Galleries. There's a lot of cool stuff on there. I was kind of thumbing through it. There's a couple of things like for $30. It's like opening bid though, you know, so once this starts, it's just going to kind of go nuts. And a lot of those things that I saw were the original tickets for Walt Disney World. And what's interesting about that is the first day that Disneyland actually opened, there were over 12,000 tickets that were counterfeit. And so people were just literally doing everything and anything they could to get into this park. And so there's a lot of those. And I'm curious, like, you know, at this point in the game, like, how do you tell the difference between the counterfeit ones and the non-counterfeit ones, you know, this late in the game? But it's really interesting to see. So let's get a little bit into Walt Disney. So in his early years, he was born on December 5th, 1901 in the Hermosa section of Chicago, Illinois. Hey, another fellow Chicago. I know, right? Really? In the Hermosa section? We should check that out. So his father, Elias, is an Irish Canadian, and his mother, Flora, was a German American. Disney was one of 5 children, 4 boys and a girl. He lived most of his childhood in Marceline, Missouri, where he began drawing, painting, and selling pictures to neighbors and family friends. In 1911, his family moved to Kansas City, where Disney developed a love for trains. His uncle, Mike Martin, was a train engineer who worked the route between Fort Madison, Iowa, and Marceline. Later, Disney would work a summer job with the railroad selling snacks and newspapers to travelers. And there's a lot of information on him, but he was obsessed with trains. And as, you know, his career developed and things like that, he always kind of went back to, you know, Lionel trains and things. But it was one of the main things after he had his children. He saw that they were kind of into him too, so that's why he created the monorail in Disneyland. So that was a big deal there. He attended McKinley High School in Chicago, where he took drawing and photography classes and was a contributing cartoonist for the school paper. At night, he took courses at the Chicago Art Institute. When Disney was 16, he dropped out of school and he joined the Army, but he was rejected for being underage. Instead, he joined the Red Cross and was sent to France for a year to drive an ambulance. When Disney returned from France in 1919, he moved back to Kansas City to pursue a career as a newspaper artist. His brother Roy got him a job at Pesman Rubin Art Studio, where he met cartoonist Ube Ert Iwerks, better known as Ube Iwerks. From there, Disney worked at the Kansas City Film Ad Company, where he made commercials based on cutout animation. Around this time, Disney began experimenting with a camera, doing hand-drawn cell animation, and decided to open his own animation business. From the ad company, he recruited his first employee, Fred Harmon. You guys know anything about Fred Harmon at all? Okay, well, they were like kind of like, I guess, Hanna and Barbera. They were kind of like the beginning of all this. So Walt and Harmon made a deal with local Kansas City theater to screen their cartoons, which led to Laughograms, and that was their first ones. The cartoons were hugely popular, and Disney was able to acquire his own studio, upon which he bestowed the same name. Laughogram hired a number of employees, including Harmon's brother, Hugh and Iwerks. They did a series of 7-minute fairy tales that combined both live action and animation, which they called Alice in Cartoonland. By 1923, however, the studio had become burdened with debt, and Disney was forced to declare bankruptcy. Disney and his brother Roy soon pooled their money and moved to Hollywood. Iwerks also relocated in California, and then the three began the Disney Brothers Studio, their first deal with New York distributor Margaret Winkler to distribute their Alice cartoons. They also invented a character called Oswald the Lucky Rabbit and contracted the shorts at 1500. So you guys know anything about the story about Oswald the Lucky Rabbit at all? Phil? Close. That's close. He was actually their first cartoon that was really popular. But basically what had happened is there was a woman, and I think it's down in my notes a little bit further, and I'll get to it, but there was a woman that was disputing the originality and felt that she owned the character and they didn't. So they quickly came up with their next second to best idea, which was Mickey Mouse. And Mickey Mouse was not the first, but he was the second. So a few... I don't know. I didn't look into Harmon, but I'll have to look into him a little bit later. Oswald's on a grassy knoll somewhere, so it's all good. So a few years later, that's why he's Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. It's actually Oswald the Lucky Rabbit that shoots the lucky bullet, so it's all good. So the Mickey Mouse career. So basically, a few years later, Disney discovered that Winkler and her husband, Charles Mintz, had stolen the rights. Here it is. The rights to Oswald, along with all of Disney's animators except for Iwerks. Right away, the Disney brothers, their wives, and Iwerks produced 3 cartoons featuring a new character Walt had been developing called Mickey Mouse. Originally, do you either know what his original name was? That is correct. And his wife thought that was too pompous. So she said, you come up with a different name. And he came up with Mickey. And then later down the road, Mortimer became his foe. The first animated shorts featuring Mickey were Plain Crazy and Galloping Gaucho, both silent films. But Mickey officially debuted in the short film Steamboat Willie, which you would recognize. It's pretty famous, in 1928, one of the first sound cartoons. He went on to appear in over 130 films, including the band concert in 1935, Brave Little Tailor in 1938, My Favorite Fantasia in 1940. Mickey appeared primarily in short films, but also occasionally in feature-length films. 10 of Mickey's cartoons were nominated for the Academy Award for Best Animated Short Film, one of which, Linda Paw, won the award in 1942. And in 1978, Mickey became the first cartoon character to have a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. I also found something really interesting, too, about all of this. I was looking at, like, you know, we were talking about he won, like, 22 Academy Awards or whatever. The year that Snow White won, they gave him one regular-sized Academy Award with 7 little I know! I'm like, I don't care. I mean, you know, you've heard the rumors about Walt Disney being anti-Semitic and all these different things, but I don't care. That's cute. I'm like, that is just cute. I want little miniature Academy. I'll take anything. I'll take an eraser that looks like an Academy Award. Okay, so moving on, let's talk about Disneyland. Now, this is pretty cool. Like, this was one of his biggest dreams that he had, and he wanted to have a place for family. And the biggest thing was, you know, trying to get this thing all together. And there's a dedication that was written for this day. It was, "To all who come to this happy place, welcome. Disneyland is your land. Here, age relives fond memories of the past, and here youth may savor the challenge and promise of the future. Disneyland is dedicated to the ideals, the dreams, and the hard facts that have created America, and with hope that it will be a source of joy and inspiration to all of the world." So basically, how this all started was he was visiting Griffith Park with his daughters, Diane and Sharon, and while watching them ride the merry-go-round, he kind of came up with an idea where adults and their children could go play and have fun together, and this would lay dormant for many, many years. He didn't know how to develop this idea. So the earliest document draft on Disney's plans was sent as a memo to studio production designer Dick Kelsey on August 31st, 1948, where it was referred to as the Mickey Mouse Park, based on notes Walt made during his and Ward Kimball's trip to Chicago Railroad Fair the same month, with a 2-day stop in Henry Ford's Museum and Greenfield Village. Have you guys ever been there? It's in Michigan. It's fantastic. Yeah. The Henry Ford Museum and Greenfield Village, it's really neat. What they've almost done is they've stopped in time this little village, and you know, you've got Thomas Edison House, and you've got all of Ford's stuff. I mean, it's crazy. It's definitely recommended if you ever travel to southeastern Michigan. Yeah. So right. Have you ever been to, was it Champaign, Illinois, where Lincoln was and stuff? You know how they have like that little area? Springfield. Yeah, sorry. I'm still learning all the history here, but Springfield. Anyway, it's kind of like that a little bit, but it's much bigger. So it's just a bigger scale, and it's a lot of fun there. Anyway, sidetrack. There's tons of stuff there. He had, you know, attractions, like he wanted to build a town. So opening day on July 17th, 1955 was a press opening day. So they had one day before the public was supposed to come. And it had 28,000 attendees, with over half, like I was saying, with counterfeit tickets. The temperature was 101 degrees, and ABC broadcasted it live, during which many guests tripped over cable wires, and it caused like a bunch of chaos. People were hot, things were sticky, nobody liked to be there. It was awful. In Frontierland, an actor, I know, I'm like, nothing's changed. Yeah, kids were screaming. It was great. In Frontierland, an actor, Bob Cummings, was caught kissing a dancer, which was like taboo back in the time. And the news coverage was back and forth and just helter-skelter. In later years, Disney and his 1955 executives referred to that day as Black Sunday. After the extremely negative press from the preview opening, Walt Disney invited attendees back for a private second day to experience Disneyland properly. So I have about a 4-minute thing that I want you guys to hear. It's pretty great. It's a little bit of what it was like to be back in 1955, the day before the opening, courtesy of PBS.
Walt was down in Anaheim almost every day. He would walk every inch of the construction site, barking orders. Move that gazebo. It's blocking the view of the castle. Can we make that lake bigger? Move the train wreck 50 feet. That tree's too close to the walkway. How about moving it? Never mind, it weighed 15 tons.
Walt was literally down there every day watching everything. But never distraught, never negative, just urging everybody on, exploring all the ways how to fix stuff.
Walt is interested in every blade of grass. He's interested in every leaf on a tree. He's interested in where everything is placed. There's not an attraction that Walt Disney isn't deeply involved in.
Disney's constant demands put the entire operation behind the 8 ball, as did his stubborn insistence to get Disneyland up and running in a hurry. 6 weeks from his announced opening date, panic was starting to set in. The entrance plaza was not yet landscaped. Main Street was unpaved. The castle, unfinished. The jungle cruise boats were moving, but the robotic animals had yet to be installed. As opening day approached, less than half of the planned attractions were ready to receive visitors, and members of the WED staff were lobbying to push back the opening. Walt was uninterested in the naysayers. He just kept pushing harder. The construction crew tripled in the final weeks to 2,500 men, many of whom were working 16 hours a day. Costs climbed to more than $17 million, more than 3 times the estimate made when construction began.
So many things were finished at the last minute. There was a plumber's strike in Orange County, which was settled about a day before Disneyland opened. So Walt had the choice of finishing the bathrooms or the drinking fountains. And of course he chose the bathrooms.
People can buy Pepsi-Cola, Disney explained, but they can't pee in the street.
Well, the interesting thing about Walt, just before the park was getting ready to open, he was so excited, like a proud father. Look what he's got now. That was Walt at his best. His enthusiasm of pursuing where he wanted to go, and everybody was just going to follow him right along.
The park was a bustle the day before the opening. ABC was setting its cameras and running rehearsals for the next day's broadcast, which was planned as the biggest and most ambitious live telecast ever. One work crew was frantically trying to dig out the 900-pound mechanical elephant that was sinking into the jungle river. Another was adding lead weights to the front of the train engine to make sure it didn't tip backward. Painters were settling in for an all-nighter. Walt himself put on a mask and helped spray paint backdrops for the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea exhibit. He was still at Disneyland at 3 o'clock in the morning, walking the grounds, barking orders. We need new murals for the trains. Get me an artist.
All right, let's get on to 5 fun facts about Walt Disney I bet you guys didn't know. Although I kind of gave one away a little bit early, but that's all right. Disney, for fact number 1, was a train fanatic, as I said before. His fascination began as a child when he would watch the trains pass by near his house. His uncle, a train conductor, would blow the whistle as a greeting. Later, as an adult, Disney built a miniature steam railroad in the backyard of his L.A. home. Seeing the joy it brought his daughters, he became determined to incorporate a monorail into Disneyland. All right, I gave that one away. But all right, this is the one I want to dispel a little bit. So, fact number 2, it was rumored that he was an anti-Semite, Disney attended meetings of the German-American Bund in the 1930s, a pro-Nazi organization. He also hosted known Nazi propagandist and filmmaker Leni Riefenstahl, giving her a tour of the Disney studios. Despite this, others claim rumors of Disney's anti-Semitism to be false. So it's back and forth. He also did a lot of propaganda films for the U.S. and for the war effort, as opposed to against the war effort. A lot of those entailed with Mickey Mouse and things like that way back in the day. So I don't really think that he is, but there's no proof that he isn't. So I don't know. Right. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. Well, yeah. And I mean, it's just kind of reminds you of like the whole Red Scare kind of a thing where they put, tons of like Hollywood actors and actresses. One of my favorite, Lucille Ball, was on that list. And, it's kind of funny to think back like, yeah, all right, it's not really a Russian sympathist, but okay. I think it's just at that point, propaganda in any which way to show that, hey, if they can get to this person, they can get to that person. And it's just, to create scare tactics in the world. So, this is, yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh. Right. Sit up straighter. Right. Mm-hmm. Okay, so he had a planet named after him. Can any of you guess which one? No, it wasn't Pluto, if that was one of your guesses, but yeah. It's 4017 Disneya. It was discovered by Soviet astronomer Ludmila Karchakenya in 1980. So I think that's pretty neat. He's got like a little planet named after him somewhere out there in the universe, which is kind of cool. Since he owns this world, he might as well own another one out there. He also... Disney had relentless determination on creating a feature-length animated Snow White film. And this is I think this is like you were saying, how his determination and the way that he acts. Everybody kind of doubted him, and he didn't care. He kind of just kept putting his nose to the grindstone. And some in Hollywood referred to the project as Disney's folly, but they were the ones that were the real fools, because the project earned more than $8 million during its original release, which would be equal to about $130 million today, which is right, which is less. Well, how much did Wonder Woman make this weekend? Right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. Well, and this guy came from humble means too. Like, he had no money when he started, the Disney Studios. He had nothing. I mean, they had something like $45, and they're like, all right, we're going to California. Let's do it. And they took a shot, and they made it. And, they weren't really wealthy growing up in any way. I mean, he is definitely 100% a self-made man, a self-made gabillionaire man, but he is a self-made man. Mm-mm. Yes. Mm-hmm. Huh. Aw, that's adorable. That's adorable. Big, right. One weird fact that I just want to throw in is I'm sure you guys have heard that he was cryogenically frozen. That's not true. It wasn't true. It was one of those things. That's what they said, but it wasn't. He died of lung cancer. It didn't happen. It's one of those things. It's just one of those, what do you call those rumors that are out there? Urban legend. Yeah, that's it. It's just an urban legend. So this one, though, I've never heard of this, but it's 100% true, and it's weird. And I'm just like, wait, what? So Disney's final words remain a total bizarre mystery. On his deathbed, he wrote the name Kurt Russell on a piece of paper. Even Kurt Russell himself is perplexed regarding the meeting. He was a child actor at the time of Disney's death, having just recently signed on with Disney Studios. That's it. Can you imagine? Can you, right? Yeah, it was his will. I know, Kurt should say something about that, because, it is... Who's going to be a dried up actor in the 90s all the way through 2000? I know, for a guy who's well, yeah, he did a bunch of movies. It was a kid. So wouldn't that be funny? That was what it was supposed to be. Like, Kurt Russell blows. And then, and then like, I guess they want him in every movie. Let's just go ahead and make him a child actor. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. That's true. She was. She was like, yes. And Kurt Russell, he's going to serve us popcorn. It's all good. Because that's all he can do now. Oh, jeez. We'll be right back after this message.
Hey everybody, this is Steven.
And this is Chris.
And we're the hosts of the brand new podcast, Is This Adulting?
Every week, we're going to sit down to have a discussion about life, culture, our own mental health struggles, and just about anything you can think of.
Have you ever wondered which breakfast cereal's the best?
Or how to help your friends who are dealing with mental illness?
Or why waterbeds were a thing?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, then have we got a show for you.
And remember, kids, be happy, stay healthy, and go hug someone.
Because you never know. They might just be starting a podcast.
All right. Well, through the whole show, Imran and Phil have been doodling and drawing some fun sketches that you can see the whole finished product and have a chance to win said drawing at the end of the month. This month it was, I believe, Victoria won this month, and she won a drawing from Phil and Imran. Those are being sent to her home. We really appreciate her support. So, Imran, what have you been drawing all evening here? Don't talk. Don't talk. 1 second. Wait. Do that again. I hit the wrong button. All right, wait, let me just say this again. Sorry. Imran, you've been drawing all night, so what have you been drawing over here? Oh, that looks really, really good. Looks really good likeness. Wow. Yeah, we've got a picture actually on the screen right now of Walt, and I'm also looking at this one, and you can definitely tell it's his likeness. So well done, Imran. And I'm looking over here at Phil. I adore you, Phil. I love your sense of humor. I love your art. You always make me laugh. Can you tell the listener what you've been drawing? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I love that. Yeah. Fantasia was mine, definitely. That was one of my favorite. I mean, I did love the old Mickey Mouse stuff, but I love Fantasia. It was just a really creative take, and the music. I was always really into music, and we played this a lot as I was growing up, you know, in different bands and different symphony bands, and I couldn't believe like this was from the 40s, and I still kind of can't believe it's from the 40s, you know. So it is. Yeah, it is, and it's held up well. Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 Well, you never know, Imran. It could turn out to be a better movie or just as decent. I mean, I'm kind of in that boat too, like don't touch my stuff. But after I saw them do Pete's Dragon, I'm on board to see what's going to happen with all of this. True. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No. Yeah, no. Hmm. Well, awesome. Well, thank you both for your drawings. And you guys can see those finished drawings on Patreon at patreon.com/blazingcaribou. Head on over there, drop us a little line, say hello, check out the art, and sign on up and sponsor one of us. And you could be in the lines of a drawing from Imran or Phil every month. So, we want to thank you for listening and watching Sketching Comedy. You can subscribe to us on our YouTube channel at Blazing Caribou and listen to us every Wednesday at 8, 7 Central. Thanks to our producer, Ish Balderas Wong. Isn't he a great producer? Isn't this such a great show? Isn't he sick of these puns yet? Well, thanks for being a part of this, Ish. And thanks to you, the listener, because without you, none of this could be possible. So thank you. You're our comic heroes. We look forward to you tuning in next week for more animations, illustrators, and stories about the animators you love. And with that, our show comes to a draw. I've been your host, Carrie Sims, along with Imran and Phil. We'll sketch you next week on Sketching Comedy. Good job, guys. That was fun. Always fun with you guys. Yeah, I'm surprised. It's because we started. We're supposed to start once in a while. It happens! Oh, I know. There's so much. I get worried sometimes. Yeah. That's awesome.
Gosh, something wrong here.
Oh, I forgot to do my Donald Duck. All right. I can do it. Okay, this is all I can do. And then we sign out, right? So, okay, this is Donald Duck sneezing. Ready? I don't even know. I stopped it right after that. It was great. That's something I did like from a kid. All right, we're going to stop streaming now. Thanks for watching and tuning in, and thanks for hanging out with us in the chat room. We really appreciate it. And we'll catch you guys next week.